There has been lots said about Virat Kohli the batter. Some experts and fans feel that Virat Kohli will not be able to make a grand comeback to international cricket as far as scoring big runs are concerned. While the other side, they feel that he will definitely make a comeback and he's just one big knock away from returning to big form. Now, David Lloyd, the former England cricketer and a renowned expert, has joined the discussion and has provided his insight about Virat Kohli's possible future in international cricket. Well, David Lloyd, he's very outspoken, and just like here also, he has done the same thing. He said that Virat Kohli is past his best and that will hurt. When India come to England in June 2025, you know where he's going to be, just outside off, and the business area will be the slips. Now, if we just, go by the important keywords, specifically the last line here, just outside off and the business area will be the slips. He expects that Virat Kohli will not really be able to work on the weakness that was basically identified by the Australians led by Pat Cummins and company in the Border Gavaskar Trophy. Virat Kohli was consistently out in the slips, back of a length delivery, outside off, poking his bat outside off, and then he was giving away that outside edge to the slip cordon, and the Australian fielders actually made merry. And that's what even David Lloyd is also feels, that come the England tour, Virat Kohli will be a walking wicket for India, and that's what it really means by his quotes, that he will not really be able to work on his weakness. But why does he really think so? Well, Lloyd has provided an insight here. He said that if you keep nicking off, it's a telltale sign for anybody, for any batter for that matter, that reflexes and reaction time is gone. Now, Virat Kohli's age is 36 and he's definitely one of India's fittest cricketers currently, maybe the fittest Indian cricketer after Ravindra Jadeja for that matter. But then when it comes to his batting, it does look like that the reflexes are really getting slow. If you look the Australia series also, in the Perth test, he got a century definitely when there was a situation that India were clearly on top. So India weren't really under pressure. So he could basically bide his time and get to the three-figure mark. But then in the remaining 4 matches, Adelaide, Gabba, MCG and the Sydney Cricket Ground, Virat Kohli was under a lot of pressure. He did apply himself in the MCG test, but then he couldn't really stand up to the pressure, and that was one of the major reasons why India lost the Border Gavaskar Trophy 3-1. In case of Virat, the only point that was missing, and that did hurt India big time, that there was no discipline whatsoever. He was consistently poking his bat outside off, and due to the reaction time or due to the slowing of the reflexes, or maybe just about this ego thing also, he could not really counter it, and that's why he was out in the slips a lot of times. Now, Lloyd went on to add that coach Gautam Gambhir will have an enormous say, a big say, because he has been in that dressing room. Kohli has lost time. His time is over. Now, how can Kohli really make a comeback, or he can probably, prove a certain David Lloyd wrong here? Well, he can probably go back to domestic cricket, play a lot of domestic cricket there, but then he doesn't really have time, because currently he's not a part of the Delhi's Ranji team that are going to play their next match against Saurashtra on January 23rd, and Delhi still have a few matches left. So Virat may not really be able to take part in the Ranji matches, because he will more than likely be a part of India's Champions Trophy squad, a tournament that's going to begin from February 19. Now, shortly after the Champions Trophy, Indian players are going to be part of the IPL, and so are going to be the overseas players. But then, shortly after the IPL also, there isn't going to be much time before the Indian players head to England for a 5-test series that's going to begin in June. So in case of Virat, he doesn't really have time to work on his weakness. White ball is a different ball game altogether, but in red ball, in testing conditions of England, if Virat does not really work on his technique, then definitely, as David Lloyd said, if we read in between the lines, he could be a walking wicket for England, or for India for that matter in this case, because it's not really going to work for them. Now, what do you think about David Lloyd's comments on Virat Kohli, and do you really think that Virat Kohli's international career is over? You can let us know your thoughts in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe to Sports Today for all the exciting updates and analysis from the sporting world. Until then, on behalf of my producer Shivam, it's Siddharth Gulati saying goodbye.